Don't make this mistake. Saving the wrong way keeps you poor. Have you ever wondered why some people remain financially stuck despite religiously cutting costs and pinching pennies? Why do certain individuals who obsess over saving every dollar never seem to build substantial wealth, while others who appear to spend more freely actually grow richer? What if the very habits you believe are helping your financial future are actually undermining it in ways you don't recognize? Most of us have been taught from childhood that saving money is virtuous. The more you save, the better off you'll be. But here's a controversial truth that might challenge everything you believe about building wealth. Excessive frugality can actually keep you poor. This isn't just counterintuitive, it directly contradicts conventional financial wisdom that most people follow their entire lives. Consider the fascinating case of Warren Buffett, currently worth over $100 billion. Despite his immense wealth, Buffett still lives in the same modest home he purchased in 1958 for $31,500. This might seem like extreme frugality, but look closer and you'll notice something crucial. While Buffett is famously frugal in some areas, he has never hesitated to invest millions in his education, business opportunities, and things that create lasting value. As he puts it, the difference between successful people and really successful people is that really successful people say no to almost everything. In today's video, don't make this mistake. Saving the wrong way keeps you poor. I'll reveal the critical difference between strategic saving that builds wealth and misguided penny pinching that actually prevents financial growth. You'll discover the 5 distinctions that separate wealth-building frugality from wealth-destroying cheapness that most financial advisors never discuss. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how to evaluate every spending and saving decision through the lens of wealth creation rather than mere cost reduction. You'll learn the specific framework that self-made millionaires use to determine when saving hurts rather than helps their financial future, and how to implement this same decision-making process in your own life. I'll also share a powerful strategy in the 4th section that helped one of my clients transform from obsessive penny pinching to strategic wealth building, doubling her net worth in just 18 months without earning a single dollar more in income. If you're ready to break free from destructive saving habits and learn how the wealthy really think about money, hit the subscribe button and notification bell right now. Also, comment "Smart Saver" below so I can see who's committed to mastering this crucial wealth-building distinction. Let's explore why saving the wrong way might be the very thing keeping you financially trapped. 1. Saving invests in long-term value. The first key difference between saving to build wealth and being stingy to destroy wealth is a focus on intention rather than action. Smart savers focus on preserving and growing wealth, while stingy people simply avoid spending at all costs. This fundamental difference in mindset produces dramatically different financial outcomes over time. When you save with purpose, you strategically cut expenses that don't contribute to your long-term financial goals, while making investments in assets, experiences, and opportunities that create long-term value. In contrast, stinginess manifests as an almost reflexive avoidance of spending, regardless of potential returns, often sacrificing significant future benefits to keep a minimal amount of money in the present. Consider how Elon Musk approached his early entrepreneurial journey. After selling his first company, Zip2, for $22 million, he lived on just $1 a day for food, often subsisting on hot dogs and oranges. This was not general stinginess, however, but targeted frugality. During the same period, Musk invested nearly all of his wealth into his next ventures, SpaceX and Tesla. He was extremely frugal with his personal expenses while still investing heavily in the future. The ancient Japanese concept of chisai kechi, oki kechi, small stinginess, big stinginess, offers a profound insight here. Traditional Japanese financial wisdom distinguishes between being frugal in small, insignificant matters versus being stingy in important areas that affect long-term results. This philosophy encourages targeted cost-cutting rather than general cost-cutting, which is precisely what separates effective savers from mere savers. To make this distinction, before any decision to not spend, ask yourself, am I avoiding this expense because it truly doesn't add value, or is it simply because I don't want to lose money? If the expense truly improves your health, skills, opportunities, or wealth, then holding back just to hold on to the cash is often much more costly in the long run. Effective saving isn't about spending as little as possible. It's about maximizing the long-term value you get for every dollar you spend. 2. Saving means spending intelligently. The second key difference centers on how decisions are made about necessary purchases. Smart savers evaluate the total cost of ownership and maximize value per dollar spent, while misers focus on minimizing the immediate purchase price regardless of the long-term consequences. This value-based approach recognizes that the true cost of anything is reflected not only in its price, but also in the cost per use over its entire life cycle. Smart savers understand that a higher initial investment in quality often results in significantly lower total costs through extended usability, reduced maintenance, and improved functionality. Meanwhile, obsessive misers often end up spending more through frequent replacements, repairs, and compromised performance. Warren Buffett expressed this principle perfectly. Price is what you pay, value is what you get. Despite his reputation for being frugal in many areas, Buffett has never hesitated to pay a premium when the quality truly justifies the cost. He drives modest cars not because they are the cheapest available, but because more expensive cars would not provide correspondingly greater value for his needs. Consider the revealing case of British business magnate Richard Branson, who wears the same clothes over and over again rather than following fashion trends. However, when it comes to buying essentials for his business or health, he invests in the highest quality regardless of price. This selective luxury spending represents smart resource allocation rather than indulgence. The reason the rich get rich is because they manage to spend less. A man who can afford to spend $50 on boots will keep his feet dry for 10 years, while a poor man who can afford to spend only $100 on boots will keep his feet wet for the same period. This principle applies to virtually every shopping category, from kitchenware to clothing to tools. Wealthy people understand that true frugality often means spending more initially to spend less over a lifetime, while frugal people repeatedly buy degraded versions of the same item, ultimately spending more while getting less. To make this distinction, calculate the cost per use for major purchases by dividing the total price, including maintenance, by the number of times you will use the product before replacing it. A quality $300 winter coat worn 600 times in 6 years costs 50 cents per wear, whereas an $80 jacket replaced annually after 100 wears costs 80 cents per wear, 60% more expensive despite its lower list price. This value-based calculation shifts purchasing decisions from emotional reactions to rational investments. 3. Saving optimizes expenses. Perhaps nowhere is the distinction between strategic saving and harmful stinginess more important than in decisions about investing in yourself. The prudent saver recognizes that personal development is the highest return on investment and is willing to direct resources toward education, skills, health, and competence. In contrast, the chronic miser classifies these important investments as non-essential expenses that should be eliminated or minimized, creating permanent limitations on their earning potential and opportunities. Your knowledge, skills, and health ultimately determine your long-term earning potential, happiness, and ability to take advantage of opportunities. When you reflexively cut costs in these areas, you essentially place a permanent limit on your financial potential, no matter how diligently you cut costs or accumulate savings. The ancient Jewish teaching on education offers a profound advice here. If you gain knowledge, what do you lack? If you lack knowledge, what have you gained? This perspective recognizes that all material wealth ultimately comes from intellectual ability and skill, meaning that investing in personal development will inevitably yield financial returns that far exceed their cost. I witnessed the impact of this distinction firsthand through David, a small business owner frustrated by stagnant income despite years of saving. He systematically eliminated professional development, networking opportunities, and health investments to maximize short-term savings. By strategically reallocating just $600 annually to self-improvement, industry conferences, professional training, and preventative health care, his income increased by more than $42,000 in 18 months. The investment return exceeded 500% annually, dwarfing any traditional financial tool available. To make this distinction work, create a personal growth fund that represents at least 5% of your income, specifically allocated to skill development, knowledge acquisition, health optimization, and relationship building. Treat this not as a discretionary expense, but as a mandatory investment that is more important than retirement contributions or debt reduction. Recognizing that your earning ability will ultimately determine every other financial ability in your life. Remember, refusing to invest in yourself isn't prudent saving. It's the most costly financial mistake you can make by permanently limiting your earning potential and quality of life. 4. Saving means finding ways to increase income. The fourth distinction perhaps represents the most fundamental difference between the wealth-building and scarcity mindsets. Smart savers recognize that increasing income will ultimately have a greater financial impact than reducing expenses, while cyclical savers focus solely on minimizing cash outflows without considering how to increase cash inflows. This distinction is profound because reducing expenses has a mathematical limit. You can never cut expenses below zero, while increasing income has no theoretical limit. By focusing primarily or exclusively on reducing expenses, cyclical savers place severe limitations on their wealth-building potential, regardless of how effectively they reduce their spending. Jack Ma, founder of Alibaba and one of Asia's richest individuals, has captured this principle well. If you have less than $1 million, you should focus on how to make more money, not how to save money. This is not to say that managing expenses is unimportant, but rather that expanding income provides the mathematical leverage needed to create transformational wealth. The Jewish business philosophy of Kesef Oved, making money work, provides valuable insight here. Traditional Jewish financial teachings emphasize that money must be actively working to create more money, rather than simply being stored. This mindset naturally encourages a focus on productive income generation, coupled with prudent expense management, creating the balanced characteristics of true wealth builders. To make this distinction work, spend at least as much time and energy on expanding your income as you do on cutting expenses. For every hour spent reviewing your budget or finding savings, invest an equal hour in developing marketable skills, exploring business opportunities, creating passive income streams, or increasing your earning potential. While it's still important to continue optimizing your expenses, realize that doubling your income will always have a bigger financial impact than halving your expenses. 5. Saving means smart financial planning. The final key distinction centers on intentionality and purpose. Strategic saving seamlessly integrates into a comprehensive financial plan with specific goals and priorities, while frugality is characterized by reflexive avoidance of spending that is unrelated to larger financial goals or quality of life considerations. A thoughtful saver makes conscious decisions about resource allocation based on long-term values, goals, and priorities, spending generously in areas that create meaning, value, and opportunity, while ruthlessly eliminating expenses that do not align with their vision. In contrast, frugality elevates cost-cutting to a virtue in itself, often sacrificing experiences, relationships, health, and opportunities to save money without a clear purpose beyond accumulation. Ray Dalio, founder of Bridgewater Associates and worth over $19 billion, is a prime example of this balanced approach. Despite his immense wealth, he has maintained many of the frugal habits he has had since his youth. However, he makes a clear distinction between rational frugality and thriftiness that shortens life. In his book Principles, he explains, the goal is not to make the most money. The goal is to have money serve your happiness. Saving on the little things to make money you don't enjoy spending is incompatible with living a good life. The Japanese concept of mokuteki, purpose, provides insight here. Traditional Japanese philosophy emphasizes that true value comes not from the action, but from the intention behind the action. Applied to financial management, avoiding spending blindly without a clear purpose creates arbitrary restraint rather than meaningful optimization of resources. To make this distinction, use values-based spending rather than constraint-based budgeting. Identify the 3 to 5 areas that are most important to your happiness, fulfillment, and growth. Then allocate resources generously to these priorities while ruthlessly eliminating spending in non-priority areas. This approach ensures that your financial decisions enhance, not diminish, your quality of life while systematically accumulating wealth. Remember, the ultimate goal of financial management is not to accumulate maximum wealth, but to create the resources to live according to your values and priorities without compromise or constraint. We've explored the 5 critical distinctions between wealth-building saving and wealth-destroying cheapness. Investing in long-term value versus cutting everything regardless of consequences. Spending intelligently versus always choosing the cheapest option. Optimizing expenses versus refusing to invest in yourself. Focusing on increasing income alongside reducing costs versus fixating only on spending less. And implementing smart financial planning versus avoiding all spending indiscriminately. Understanding these distinctions transforms your entire relationship with money. When you shift from reflexive cost-cutting to strategic value optimization, financial decisions become about maximizing long-term returns rather than minimizing short-term outflows. This fundamental perspective change is what separates those who accumulate genuine wealth from those who remain perpetually anxious about money despite extreme frugality. The most liberating truth is that breaking free from harmful cheapness doesn't require spending more overall. It requires spending more wisely. By reallocating resources from low-value to high-value areas, you simultaneously enhance your quality of life and accelerate your wealth building. This isn't financial indulgence. It's intelligent resource optimization. Remember that the ultimate purpose of money isn't accumulation for its own sake, but rather creating the freedom to live according to your deepest values without compromise. Strategic saving serves this purpose by preserving and growing resources for meaningful priorities, while cheapness actually undermines it by elevating cost avoidance above life quality and opportunity. I encourage you to conduct a personal value audit this week. Identify where your current spending delivers genuine long-term value and where it merely satisfies short-term desires or habits. Similarly, examine where your cost-cutting enhances financial progress versus where it might actually be limiting your growth, health, or opportunities. This single exercise can transform your financial trajectory by aligning your resource allocation with true wealth building rather than mere expense reduction. If you found value in this video, please hit the like button to help YouTube's algorithm share this message with others who might benefit. Share this video with friends or family members who might be unknowingly trapped in the cheapness mentality that prevents genuine wealth building. And if you're committed to mastering the psychology and strategies of true financial abundance, subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our weekly insights on building lasting prosperity. I'd love to know which of these 5 distinctions resonated most strongly with you. Comment below with the difference between really hit home and share how you plan to implement this insight in your own financial life. Your perspective might be exactly what helps someone else break free from the cheapness trap. Remember, the wealthy aren't those who spend the least, they're those who spend the most effectively. Your journey to financial freedom begins not with saving everything, but with saving strategically.